We are Operation Hope Foundation. Founded in 2001, we are from Singapore, a city-state that some people call a red dot, but one with a big heart. Our dream is to become an international non-government organization, helping the poor in developing countries. Our strengths is that with over 20 years of hands-on field experience, we have developed a proven methodology to run large projects efficiently, with deep impact and most important without fraud. In developing countries with low salaries and a cash-based economy, fraud is prevalent and even accepted as a way of life. OHF was started by a dedicated founder, an entrepreneur, who has dedicated the second half of his life to helping the poor. Our model is SOS Children's Villages or SOS Kinderdorf, an NGO based in Austria with an annual income of Singapore $1.9 billion. Austria is similar to Singapore with a bigger population of 8.9 million as compared to Singapore's 5.77 million. However, Singapore has a higher GDP per capita of US $59,500 as compared to Austria $49,000. Our humble goal is to have annual donations of just 1% of SOS, which is $19 million. Our current annual donation is just above 1.2 million, which we want to grow to 19 million. The subsequent slides will show how and why we can achieve this goal. We are registered as a charity on July 4, 2001 with focus on Cambodia and Nepal. Since 2002, we have spent over $6 million on our projects in Pre Vang, Cambodia. We have 35 staff in Cambodia with our own building, staff, vehicles and equipment. In Nepal, we have a children's home and have conducted many community projects as well. We have received over $1 million from 3 overseas foundations. Our founder, Robert Key, is a Colombo Plan scholar and entrepreneur. Our strength is that we are very hands-on and when needed, will micromanage to solve problems. Hands-on means we have most of the needed information at our fingertips. We are street smart in our processes, and do not just rely on receipts or reports to ensure good governance and accountability. Street smart thinking knows where the loopholes were, where fraud and wastage can occur. With over 20 years of experience, we are armed with a huge reservoir of experiences, and from these experiences, we have proven methods. Our focus is on execution to ensure we deliver maximum benefits to our beneficiaries. Our vision is to make hope real for people trapped in poverty. This means our programs must be impactful enough to change lives. For example, we build a $5,200 house for a family. Some organizations may think this is too much for a family, and prefers to use the $5,200 spread over 100 families. But what can $52 do for a family? Can we really change the lives of a family with $52? We must deliver appropriate solutions that make significant impact, rather than an incremental change or temporary relief to the families. Most important, the project must be executed with no fraud or unnecessary overheads, resulting in less than 10% of the donation reaching the beneficiary. Our motto is to stretch the donor's dollar and do more with less. OHF has tight control over the expenses incurred by its staff, traveling on budget airlines, and staying in guest houses rather than 5-star hotels. What are our core strengths? Good financial accountability means ensuring goods and services are paid at the right price. This means we have to be familiar with the local cost. For example, in construction, we know the cost of cement, bricks, rebars, concrete and roof tiles. In running a children's home, we know the cost per kilogram of pork, chicken, kangkong, potatoes, eggs and other items. We need to train local staff to follow standard operating processes, and develop a culture of honesty and accountability. Street-smart operational processes, and detailed reports ensure that projects are executed to our standard. A key focus for OHF is to deliver programs with high benefit-to-cost ratio to the beneficiaries. Note, the emphasis is on beneficiaries, and not on a partner, who may rely on yet another partner to execute the projects. As the money flows through a chain of NGOs, the actual benefit becomes less and less. Our hands-on approach means we go beyond the administrative tasks to providing technical expertise and project management. We have 2 large children's homes in Nepal and Cambodia. As you will see in subsequent slides, our children's home are not just board and lodging, but we embedded programs to develop skills and self-confidence. Our volunteer program have brought meaningful experience to thousands of volunteers ranging from students to church and corporate groups. Our community projects deliver houses, wells, toilets to the poorest of the poor. We do not contract these projects to vendors but execute them ourselves. Our skills training program bridges the gap for rural students so that they can get a white-collar job. We are constantly looking for technical solutions to alleviate poverty. We are embarking on a methodology to convert organic waste into fertilizers in 24 hours. In 2001, we chose Cambodia and Nepal as they were among the poorest countries in the region. In 2002, when we recruited our Cambodian staff, the average salaries were below $75. The majority of homes in Prey Veng have no toilets, piped water, or electricity.
Our founder, Robert Key, graduated with a first-class honors in electrical engineering from the University of Auckland. He then obtained a Master of Engineering degree from the National University of Singapore. He has started an IT company, Radots, which was sold to Datomatic, a public-listed Australian company. Running an SME in Singapore with cutthroat profit margins, Robert brings his culture of hard work, tight control and hands-on problem-solving to OHF. He is dedicated to ensure there is no fraud and misuse of donations, traveling to remote area to audit projects. In 2015, he lived in a tent in the very remote mountainous area of Dusini, Dading in Nepal, to audit rice bag houses constructed for earthquake victims. He works with no pay and pay for all his travel expenses and is a major donor to OHF. This slide shows the work that we have done in Prey Veng Province, Cambodia for the past 20 years. Over 700 rural youths have been trained to secure white-collar jobs. 29 schools each with 500 students have benefited from the safe water system, allowing the students access to safe drinking water at no charge. Over 1,000 families benefited from a house, well or toilet that we have built for them. TJSSS, or Training Job Skills for the Service Sector, is a 3-month residential full-day training program that teaches English, Microsoft Office, as well as soft skills like decision-making, problem-solving. Lessons on hospitality, administration, sales and marketing are also taught. These are the many projects that we have done in Nepal since 2002. From donating oxygen concentrators during COVID-19 to building 150 rice bag houses for earthquake victims, and livelihood programs such as chicken, goat and vegetable farms, we have done projects throughout many remote provinces in Nepal. It is hard to execute projects with no fraud and ensuring that the right beneficiaries are selected. Ghost projects, which exists only on paper, are commonly used to cheat unsuspecting NGOs. Bhojpur is a poor and remote province in Nepal. OHF staff were present to supervise the construction of a rice bag church. The whole construction process was taught and supervised by OHF staff. Boom, which is build, own, operate and manage, is our preferred way of executing projects. Our building infrastructure in Nepal and Cambodia exceeds $1 million in addition to vehicles and equipment. Our projects are operated much like an overseas subsidiary, to ensure proper governance and accountability. Of course, we need a full set of standard operating procedures, SOP, to ensure staff follows the correct procedures. Instead of acting as a grantor, providing funds to a local NGO to run the project, OHF believes in running the programs themselves. If they do work through a local NGO, it is with strict controls and monitoring. From faked receipts, ghost projects, multiple donors for the same project to vague and obtuse financial reports, fraud occur frequently and regularly. Non-government organizations, NGOs, must make fraud prevention and detection a top priority. Cash transactions combined with faked or altered receipts make fraud invisible, especially if we based our audit solely on receipts. When the risk of being detected is extremely low, corruption spread like cancer. It is said that the virus of poverty is fraud. Indeed, poverty exists together with corruption. It is sad that NGOs many not have the skill set or processes to detect and prevent fraud in a cash-based economy. Founder, Robert Key, detests corruption as the generosity of donors is used to enrich others, causing the beneficiaries to gain less than what they would have without fraud. In many countries, when petrol is pumped, a handwritten receipt is given. The amount stated on that receipt could be much greater than the actual amount of diesel or petrol that was pumped. In OHF, we check the mileage consumed by that vehicle in that month to estimate the amount of petrol or diesel we need. The actual claim should not deviate by more than 5 to 10%. This is an example of a simple street-smart process that does not rely solely on receipts. For every vehicle, a consumption test is done so that we know how many kilometers the vehicle can drive for 1 liter of diesel or petrol. Each month, we obtain the mileage report from the vehicle logbook, and based on the mileage, we compute the amount of diesel/petrol needed. As the cost of diesel/petrol is known, we can calculate the amount needed and compare this with the actual claim.
Because the diesel/petrol can be topped up near the end of each month, there are variations on a month-to-month basis, but over a year these variations will even out. Over the past 20 years we have found fraud in several incidents. Faked vehicle repair bills is almost undetectable since it is difficult to assess the cost of the repair, or even what has been repaired since we are not present when the repairs are carried out. Buying food from the wet market, where there are no receipts, is another area prone to fraud. Invoices can be issued for items when none or a lesser quantity is delivered. Finally, we can be supplied with inferior products. Yet for all these cases, there are solutions to detect and prevent fraud. For detection of fraud in wet food purchases, a combination of methods is used. Often we found in many children's home, there is no weighing machine, so the weight of the food bought is unknown, and based solely on what the buyer writes. This is a fundamental flaw because without weighing the food there is no way we can determine if the correct amount of food has been bought. Working in developing countries where information is hard to get, we face a barrage of unknowns. You cannot solve what you do not know. This unknown problem can mislead us into believing that all is fine. Let OHF change your unknown into known knowns. We provide training and consultancy services on how to run projects in developing countries. Let us take the house building project as an example. It seems simple, but it is not. For example, how do you know the right number of houses have been built? These houses are often in remote areas, and you don't have the time or resources to visit all the houses. Often, we depend on reports being honest and factual. Houses should be given to the poorest of the poor, but how do we know the correct beneficiaries are selected? There are even cases of houses which are on stilts, being carried off and sold. Many people adopt the honor principle, which is, that we have to trust the person or NGOs that is doing the project and submitting the report. There is actually a simple way to ensure that the houses are being built. Many cameras come with the ability to embed GPS coordinates into the photo. Since every house is built in a different location, they should have different GPS coordinates. Using Google Map, you can check the location of each house. And when Google Map updates, you can even see the houses that were built. Such a simple solution will ensure that the right number of houses are being built, and that they are built in the correct location. However, most reports just provide financial figures with a few photos. OHF, on the other hand, provided photos with GPS coordinates for every house. The house building program is not easy. We have to ensure the right beneficiaries are selected and not friends or relatives of our staff. As quite a large amount of money is involved in buying materials, tight procedures help ensure our staff do not get kickbacks from the suppliers. In addition, we have to ensure good quality materials are bought and the houses are constructed according to our building plans. Opened in Dec 2003 after extensive renovation, Hope Village Pre Veng is a purpose-built children's home for 120 children. Covering an area of 80,000 square feet, it has many facilities for the children. The objective of the children's home is to prepare the children so that when they leave, they can get a good job, raise a family, and be a good citizen for Cambodia. The children, after they leave Hope Village, said that their future is good because of their stay in Hope Village. They would not be able to go to a university, or even finish school, had they stayed in the village with their grandparents. At Hope Village, the children get adequate nutrition, attend computer classes and have many activities. They learn to bake and sell cookies and muffins and keep the profits they made. Those with green fingers can grow vegetables, which is sold to the home. Hope Training Center is a 70,000 square feet facility with offices, classrooms and dormitories. This center is the headquarters for our community programs. Originally a rice field, it was converted into a training and community outreach center. We have a 3-month residential course to equip rural youths with skills to secure a white-collar job. Many rural youths after finishing schools end up as construction or factory workers or doing ad hoc work in the village. They do not have the skills to get better paying jobs. Imagine leaving school with no knowledge about computers and with very limited English. If they go to Phnom Penh, there are many youths who have computer skills and can speak English. It would be hard for rural youths to compete with city youths who have more skills. From English to Microsoft Office, they learned soft skills like decision making, problem solving, teamwork, as well as lessons on hospitality,
sales and marketing and administration. Our goal was to equip them with a wide range of skills to get jobs from waitressing, sales, receptionists, tour guide, bank counter staff to helping their family improve their small business. From a rented apartment in Kathmandu, we have now a brand new children hostel in Pokhara. Built at a cost of $700,000, here in Pokhara the air is fresh and there are plenty of land for the children to play. This new hostel has classrooms, computer rooms, multi-purpose hall and a large kitchen and dining hall. The children attend private schools, where the language of instruction is English. Our volunteer program have brought hundreds of volunteers to do community work in Nepal and Cambodia. Volunteers under the supervision of OHF Khmer staff, build houses, wells and toilets. Teams range from companies like Schenker and Hilton to educational institutions, churches and individuals. With over 20 years of experience, our staff are familiar with working with overseas volunteers. The program is carefully arranged so that all volunteers are kept busy. In the slide, we see the men doing the more heavy work of nailing the wooden planks to form the wall, while the ladies do the lighter work of nailing bamboo strips for the floor. Before the team arrives, there is a lot of backroom work such as identifying the beneficiaries to purchasing of materials. OHF community projects range from building houses, toilets for improved sanitation, to constructing wells and UV water system to provide safe drinking water. OHF carries out the process of converting donations into benefits. We encourage donors, not just to ask what we do, but how we carried out our projects. Execution is the key.
We have a residential as well as a non-residential child sponsorship. Poor students skip school, in order to earn money for the family. Parents often do not have money to buy uniforms, textbooks and stationery. Education is free but schooling is not. Our programs provided uniforms and books for poor students, whose family gets a food pack. If their children do not miss classes to do ad hoc jobs, this program has been very successful in keeping the poor students in school, and the food packs were especially helpful during the COVID lockdown periods, where the poor could not earn much income. While education is free, schooling is not. Students need money to buy uniforms, textbooks and stationery, and there are ad hoc fees for school programs and activities. While buying an exercise book may not seem to be a big financial burden, students have dropped out of school because they could not submit their homework, as they could not buy a new exercise book. Poor students have a high dropout rate because they skip classes to earn money to buy food. From looking after small children to collecting wild vegetables and selling merchandise in markets, poor students are forced to help earn money so that the family have food to eat. Our non-residential sponsorship provides food packs every 2 months to their families, on condition that the students do not skip classes. Unlike Singapore, where we can drink directly from the tap, students in Cambodia have to bring their own water from home. This UV water system provides safe drinking water to hundreds of thirsty students in a school. Knowing how active children can be, and how hot the weather is, this water system is a welcome gift to the schools. The entire system was designed by founder, Robert Key, who is an engineer. The water is pumped and stored in a tank, and filtered and sterilized by ultraviolet sterilizer. Our wooden house is very comfortable with roof tiles that insulate the house from the sun, bamboo floors that are cool, and wooden walls and windows. This is a big contrast to houses built by other NGOs that have zinc roof and walls, that literally turn the house into an oven. OHF has its own drilling rig and lorries, for its well program. By doing the work ourselves, and not contracting it out, we ensure quality work at reasonable cost. We have built hundreds of toilets. Good execution ensures that donors' money is translated into benefits with no fraud. Do good well is easier said than done. When Nepal was devastated by a massive earthquake in 2015, we came up with a low-cost housing solution that is ideal for households in the mountainous Himalayan regions. Many houses in the mountain villages are made of large stones held together by mud. These houses easily collapse in an earthquake. The cost of carrying thousands of bricks up the mountain and hiring bricklayers is too costly for the villagers. Our rice bag house use empty rice bags which are filled with soil and laid on top of each other to form the wall. Barbed wires and rebars make it a strong structure that can resist earthquakes. The thick rice bags walls provide good insulation so that the house is cool in summer and warm in winter. 155 houses, as well as a large community center, has been constructed by OHF. We have developed training videos in Nepali on how to build these rice bag houses, and posted the video on YouTube so that other villagers can build the rice bag houses themselves. The villagers are very happy and feel safe in their rice bag house. We have the expertise, experience and passion. We need your help to grow and make hope real for many. Our street smart methodology means we can do more with less money. Let's eliminate corruption from all charities, as donors' money are precious gifts that should be used to alleviate poverty and not enrich others. A quote from US President Joe Biden says, "Corruption is a cancer that eats away a citizen's faith in democracy, diminishes the instinct for innovation and creativity. It wastes the talent of entire generations." Nelson Mandela said poverty is man-made and can be removed by the actions of human beings.